Subscribe to the channel and also press the bell icon to never miss an update from Endeavour Careers.
Common admission test conducted by IIMs for the admission process 2019 would be conducted this year on 25th November 2018. Approximately there are 30 to 40 days for this particular exam. So in this video we would be seeing on how one should perform or what should be practiced in this last 30 to 40 days for LRDI section of CAT. In our last video of 3 months to CAT LRDI sectional strategy, we discussed about the paper pattern of CAT where DI and LR section have exactly 32 questions out of 100 to be solved in 60 minutes of time. So if I just analyze 3 years CAT paper, it has the highest level of difficulty among all the 3 sections. So when I am talking about LR and DI, as a combined there are 32 questions which can be divided into 16 questions of LR and 16 questions of DI. Yes, last year the ratio was something else. The ratio was around 20 questions and remaining 12 questions. Yes, but more or less we are talking about there are 4 sets of DI and 4 sets of LR that a student have to solve. Also, we discussed about 5 different kinds of set which are generally the part of DI LR set in CAT. Now, these 5 are basically traditional data interpretation sets or questions which are generally a bar graph or a line graph or a pie chart and calculation based questions. The second kind are traditional analytical reasoning or logical reasoning sets which can be a matrix of a puzzle like 3x6 or a 3x7 or maybe a 4x6 or 4x7 set. The third kind of questions are new age data interpretation sets which may include a paragraph where you have to actually form the calculation or the data and then move it forward. The fourth one were new age logical reasoning sets which were a bit difficult, and the fifth, that is game based puzzles. We hope that after going through that video you must have gone through each and every type of questions and started preparing for those kind of questions. Now in this video I'll be taking up what you should have actually done in your September, October, and yes, the remaining October and till CAT, what you can do to improve your sectional scores and performance in this particular CAT 2018. Now after that video we would have expected in the month of September you must have solved all kind of or all varieties of DI sets and AR sets. Now if we talk about traditional AR or traditional DI sets, we still expect you to solve that type of question daily, because the student is not only targeting CAT exam but they are also targeting NMAT, SNAP or an IAFT or a ZAT exam where traditional DI or traditional LR or AR sets are abundance in quantity. But when we are talking about CAT, the new age DI or AR section, these particular section has to be taken care of very well. The solving process would be very clear. That is, if you are solving a traditional DI or an AR set, you should have not more than 1.5 minutes per question. So if a set has approximately 4 questions, give yourself around 6 to 7 minutes of time and solve each and every question in that particular time frame. However, new age DI or an AR sets must be first, you should get acquainted to. Unless you are not acquainted to such kind of question, you will not be able to solve that in a particular time. So it is better to get acquainted first in those kind of questions and not give yourself a time. So in the month of October, after you have gone through all the kind of or all the varieties of questions of DI and AR, now you need to identify what is your comfort zone, what kind of questions or varieties of questions suits your aptitude. Once you have identified your strengths and weakness, it is now the time to go aggressive on solving your sectional test as well as mock test. What we would recommend in the month of October, approximately 20 days, last 20 days of October, you must solve approximately around 10 to 15 sectional tests of LRDI as well as around 10 mock CATs. once you start solving these sectional tests of 60 minutes and 32 questions, a lot of time would happen that you will be able to only get around 10 to 12 questions. That is absolutely fine. You slowly and gradually have to frame the right strategy and have to try to reach your maximum limits. When I am talking about the maximum limits, a good attempt considering last 3 years difficulty paper would be somewhere around 15 question plus. And yes, if you are trying to get a 99 percentile plus in this particular section or trying to get into IIMs, yes, a good score, or should I say a good number of net correct questions would be somewhere around 18 to 24, depends on the level of difficulty of the paper. At this point of time, what you must be focusing on is the right strategy by high accuracy questions, because solving a lot of question would not be possible. So whatever you solve, make sure you have about 90 or 95% of accuracy, and this entire game for LRDI is selection of the right set. If you just get trapped into a difficult set, it is very difficult to get out again. So definitely from the first point of view, make sure you know the question very well before getting into that. And even if you are getting into a difficult question, make sure you just get out. So right strategy would be actually helping you to get through this particular section. Around 15 to 24, depends on the level of difficulty, should be a right number of net correct questions. Last year this particular section was a bit tough, so to get a 99 percentile in this section, approximately score was 15 net correct questions, around 45 marks. So understand, please do not have a preconceived notion about the number of questions you need to attempt. You have to give your best output in this 60 minutes to get the best score in LR and DI section. Also, this is the time during your sectional mocks and your full length test, you start analyzing the importance of your online calculator. Start using it, because in a DI section there are approximately 8 to 10 questions which are heavy on calculations from the last 3 years, and yes, there might be chances that these questions would be key in questions. It means options would not be given to you. So it requires a very high accuracy. So you need to start using this online calci to get the high accuracy in case they are key in questions. A lot of students, they try to attempt these key in questions mentally. Nothing wrong in that, but when we are talking about a 2-digit or a 3-digit level accuracy, yes, calci would help you to get the right accuracy. So make sure you get acquainted to the online calculator. Apart from that, the key thing here while solving sectionals and your mock test, make sure these strategies you discuss with your mentors, because yes, there are high chances you might go into a wrong direction. Well, please allow your mentors to correct you. So getting into the right direction, framing the different strategies would play a very important role by the end of October. Now in last final 25 to 30 days of CAT, what you need to do is whatever learnings strategy you have already applied or learned in the month of October, this is the time where you start applying those strategy in actual mock exams. So this is the time where you solidify your strategy, frame your strategy, start implementing, and you need to get the sustainable score in this particular section. So when I talking about sustainable score, it means first high accuracy, and your score should not fluctuate too much. Definitely what we would expect out of you is every strategy or every test, your score should now start increasing day by day. So for example, a student scoring a 13 or a 14 net correct question should move to around 18 to 19 questions, and maybe subsequently to 22, 23 or up to 28. However, this might not be possible in all the questions, because yes, level of difficulty matters a lot. But when we are talking about a sectional percentile, yes, it should keep on rising day by day. Now, once you analyze few last mocks you have taken in the end of October and in the month of November, identify that 7 to 8 mocks where you have performed the best. Identify which strategy you had used in this 6 to 7 mocks to have a very good or a high performance. Once you identify that, you need to finalize that strategy for the D-Day. If we analyze the paper pattern of the last 3 years of CAT, understand one thing: LR and DI had not a major contribution in the overall score. What I want to say is this section has been moderate to tough in the last 3 years, and therefore solving these questions has been tough for the students as well. Now there are two major reasons why students generally fall in this section. First, they had not enough practice the new age LR and DI section, and they are poor at mental calculation and ratios. To give you an idea about what happened in last 2 to 3 years of CAT, let's see this particular data which shows a percentile versus a score ratio. Okay, you can see this data. The first and the second column is percentile and overall score, whereas column number 3, 4 and 5 has verbal, LRDI and quant scores. Now to get a 99 percentile, a verbal and a quant section has approximately 74 score, whereas when we are talking about LR and DI, it requires only 45 marks to get a 99 percentile in that particular section. So we can clearly see one thing. Getting a 99 in verbal and quant requires to solve more number of questions than an LRDI. In CAT 2017, we can see a score of approximately 45 marks could get a 99 percentile. That means a score of around or should I say net correct questions of 15 can fetch you a 99 percentile. And if we go a bit on a lower side, say 95 percentile, approximately 11 questions, and 90 percentile would be somewhere close to around 9 to 10 questions, and 80 percentile would be somewhere close to around 7 questions. So getting an overall score or a percentile, LRDI has a minimum contribution to this particular section. But however, if you are targeting an IIMs, you need to have a sectional cutoff ready for this, because this section is also the differentiator between all the 3 sections. So you can see this LRDI section has a minimum contribution among all the 3 sections to the overall score. However, this section is also the differentiator between the students who would be going to an IIMs versus a tier 2 or a tier 3B schools, because to clear a sectional cutoff, you may have to reach that minimum barrier of solving certain amount of questions. Also now, let's try to map the score and percentile for the last 3 years for this LRDI section. You can clearly see from this table, from score of 2017 and 2016 have a high correlation, that is a 99 percentile at around score of 45, which is around 15 net correct questions, whereas in 2016 it had approximately 48, which is 16 net correct questions. So if we check around 80 percentile for 2017 and 16, there are 21 score, around 7 net correct questions. So if we see, the level of difficulty of 2016 versus 17 was almost same, which was tough, compared to 2015, where a 99 percentile was at a score of around 56, which is around 18 to 19 net correct questions. So with this data, we can clearly match our targets. If the level of difficulty is same as 2016 and 17, a target of 18 questions with a 95% or 90% accuracy can get you a 99 percentile plus. However, if you are targeting more like a 99.8 or 99.9 percentile, make sure you solve around 21 to 22 net correct questions with approximately 95% accuracy. However, I already told you one thing before, the only key to get this particular target in place is to practice. A lot of students fear to practice this difficult questions because they have been acquainted to solve a traditional AR and DI. But understand, apart from that, these questions, that is new age DI questions and LR questions, are the key to crack a CAT examination, because there are high chances, because these new questions may not be familiar to us, which makes this question difficult. Once we practice these type of questions, we are sure that you will definitely make it on the day of exam, before the exam, and in your results too. In this last month, make sure your strategy is in place. Make sure you don't fear any questions, and the ability to choose right questions with a good practice, we are sure you'll make it to one of the top colleges. We wish you all the best for LRDI section and CAT 2018. Hope to see you in any of the IIMs.